the dough. Warren, I need a hug. Arcadia Bay Cemetery. It's bittersweet, folks. I mean, I'm happy that everybody else is safe, but it's bittersweet. It's very bittersweet. Poor Joyce and David Madsen. Joyce has lost so much. She's lost her husband and her daughter. I feel horrible for her. She's the one that I feel the most sorry for with this ending. Is Joyce. Is such a wonderful woman, and just having her so much loss. It's good to see Kate okay and Warren okay, and I can't even comment on how snazzy of an outfit Warren has right now because it's just a horrible time. Rest in peace, Chloe. Rest in peace. Victoria. Is that Frank? It is Frank. It's Pompidou. It's the butterfly effect. That Chloe. It's blue. It's a blue butterfly. I think that's Chloe. Wow. That was amazing, guys. Amazing. I know a lot of you are probably very relieved to hear me say that because I understand, guys. I know a lot of you guys have been frustrated with me for at least the first 3 episodes and the first half of the 4th episode, because many of you are saying it just didn't seem like I didn't enjoy the game as much for the first 3 episodes, and for people who love the game so much, because that's why most of the time you watch Let's Plays because you actually like the game, you're big fans of the game, and you love the game. Believe me, I completely understand. But that doesn't make it untrue that, yes, it is true that I did not like the game as much based on the first 3.5 episodes. I didn't hate the game, but, you know, it was true that there were a lot of things about the game that bothered me. And, you know, part about me doing Let's Plays is it's important for me to give my honest opinion of a game in that moment. But you have to understand that it's possible that my opinion of a game can change over time and evolve and develop over time, much like when I appreciate it when characters evolve and change and develop over time. I find that it makes it more rewarding when that happens, as opposed to, you know, me loving the game from the very beginning. There's some special reward, some sort of, I guess, maybe even a feeling of vindication. Like, see, Angel Hearts, I told you we would like the game by the end. And yes, by the time I had played through all of the episodes of the game, I definitely would recommend this game to other people, giving them the caveat that they may be frustrated. They might be, if they're like me, maybe frustrated for the first few episodes, but by the end, it's worth it. It's worth it. I do believe that this game is worth it after that. But yeah, so yeah, the big thing is, yes, I mean, I apologize that you guys were frustrated, and I apologize that you felt like I was, throwing the game under the bus, and that's never my intention. My intention is not to make you feel bad. I apologize for making you feel bad or frustrated, but I'm not going to apologize for giving you my honest reaction to things, giving my honest reaction and criticisms and frustrations as I'm playing the game, because that's just part of my experience when I play a game blind, is I speak what's in my head, good or bad, and warts and all. That's what's very important to me, and I appreciate those of you who understand that. But like I said, this episode was amazing. It wrapped things up so well, and it felt so epic in its own way. Like, just going through all of the final moments, that part where you're walking, like I said, like a theme park ride where you're walking from one scene to another with Chloe and Max, because the story is about Chloe and Max, and I knew that. And that was a great way to just summarize where we've been and just have that nostalgia effect going from episode 1 to episode 4, which is really good for an episodic game, because it might not be as fresh in your mind because episode 1 was months ago. I think Life is Strange came out was it a year ago? Did Life is Strange come out about a year? Yeah, I think it's about a year ago, around October or November that it came out, if I remember correctly. Something along those lines. I don't remember fully, but yeah, because if it came out every other month or so, yeah, it would be about a year. So that was a great way to culminate the series. And then the entire dream nightmare sequence at the end, the trippiness of it, the creepiness of it. Like, I was legitimately freaked out in several parts. Freaked out, disturbed. It invoked some very intense emotions. I loved that about that. That was very well designed. And then again, the scene where all of the people were frozen and you got to hear their thoughts. You got to go to each person and hear their thoughts and then see all the people that you affect. That pretty much was setting you up for the final decision. The final decision that you couldn't rewind, which was amazing, which is awesome. I kind of saw it in the back of my mind coming, that we had to make something that deep of a choice. And the choice ended up being choosing between Chloe and then choosing between all of Arcadia Bay. And I'm wondering what the results of what the polls are for that. Because, I don't know, I think a lot of people would probably go do the numbers game. You can save more people versus one. But then again, this is your best friend. This is someone that you promised you would take care of. You promised her, you gave your word you would always be there for her and protect her. And so that must be really hard going against that. Everything at the beginning of the episode with the stuff with Mr. Jefferson, you felt so vulnerable. Like, I hope that it gives guys, especially men, an appreciation, well, not appreciation is the right word, but a better understanding of what a lot of women go through and fear when they are threatened with something that invasive or invasive, whether it's in a sexual nature or not. Like, we hear all these stories of, women getting raped, or women getting sexually harassed, or women getting, just again, just being felt like helpless and vulnerable. And I hope that a lot of the male gamers have a better appreciation for that, because I think it's a very real problem, and something that I think a lot of guys don't understand fully. So putting them in our shoes, especially as a teenage girl, I think is a really good way to. They did a great job of invoking how that would feel. Wow, you decided to sacrifice Arcadia Bay. Only 47%. So a majority of the people did end up sacrificing Chloe, which I actually kind of saw, because I feel like most people would probably try to see it as, you save more people this way. It's the right thing to do to try to save more people. Um, so, uh, the one criticism that I have to give about the whole plot is, what was the lesson? Was there a lesson to be learned? Because if you notice carefully, Chloe is given this power for some unexplained reason. They never explain it. Maybe they don't have to explain it, because maybe that's not the point of the point of the story is not necessarily how she got her power, it's just what she did with it. But the whole point is, she was given this power somehow, and you are taught to not use it at all. Yeah, she was taught to not use the power at all. She went through this whole exercise only to be taught, yeah, you have this, but don't use it. Which is, I don't know, kind of messed up, because had she not had this power to begin with, if she was never even given this power at all, then she would not have had to learn this lesson, because the lesson wasn't applicable. Like, how could she abuse? The lesson was, don't abuse your superpower. Well, if she didn't have a superpower to abuse, that would be a lesson she didn't have to learn in the first place. So pretty much the universe was trolling. Essentially, the whole universe is trolling Max. Poor Max. What did she ever do to the universe? They basically says, here, we're going to give you this power, and you're going to go through all of this torment, all of this horror, all of this intense thing that will make you so crazy and neurotic and insane, only to say, you have this, now don't use it. It's almost like a curse. It's almost like the universe itself cursed her to go through this whole ordeal, only to find out that she shouldn't have gone through that whole ordeal, because she should never have used this gift in the first place. Is it a gift or a curse? So here, now you know the consequences of using this gift, even though you got this gift, even though you never asked for this gift in the first place, but you used it because you used it trying to do good, trying to help people. That's why what you were trying to do your gift. But no, the lesson is, you shouldn't have used your gift at all, period, even to help people. Shame on you. Now you have to live your entire life knowing you have this ability, but you can't use it. You have this gift that you can't use, for good or ill. That bothers me a little bit, because it's like, what is the point, really? What is the lesson? And if the plot isn't really trying to teach you a lesson at all, that may be the case. Ultimately, the story is just meant to be fun and entertaining. But if it doesn't have it, but just because it seems to be lacking some practical lesson, to me, it cheapens the plot. It cheapens the story. That there just wasn't anything there beyond, you have to let go of of people if it's their time, or if they're fated, if they're meant to die. But then again, people have issues with fate, the whole term fate, because it's now, as of this recording, right this moment, it's now 12:23, and it's Back to the Future Day. It's Back to the Future. And what was the very last thing, one of the last things that Doc Brown says at the very last movie of the Back to the Future series is, your future isn't written yet. No one's has. Your future is what you make of it, whatever you make of it. The whole point, it sort of goes against the concept of fate. So that's that's I guess that's the biggest criticism I have right now of the game, is that it felt, the fact that there wasn't some substantial or meaningful thing you could take from it as a lesson beyond, the argument of fate versus not fate, to me cheapens the plot. But that aside, overall, throughout the whole, at the story as a whole, I did enjoy. You kind of end up, I like the fake out where you thought that all of your choices, here's the weird fake out, is that, when you jump to San Francisco, you think that all of the choices that you made didn't matter anymore because, because everything, you changed things at the very beginning and everything just ends up turning the way they do by this point in San Francisco anyway, no matter what choices you make. And then you flip things over around again and end up going back in time, and then your choices suddenly do matter again, you know. And then you make a big choice at the end where you either destroy Arcadia Bay or you save Chloe. And so with me saving Chloe, or sacrificing Chloe. So with me sacrificing Chloe, again, it just undid all of the episodes, because it seems like even if I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe Kate March still dies. Maybe she still jumps off of the table even after I've sacrificed Chloe. Maybe a whole bunch of other people either died or lived, because of I guess I don't know for sure, but it just felt like your choices ended up not mattering, and um, so I don't know if that bothers people. It doesn't really bother me that much personally, to be honest. I wasn't upset by that your choices didn't matter, because it still was a great story, and to me that's all that matters. That to me matters more than whether or not my choices actually affected the plot ultimately, because again, like the journey, it's still the journey. And that was the point of what Chloe was making, is no matter what alternate reality we end up in, whatever happens to her, all of those moments, those pieces in time, to quote Jefferson, those pieces in time are still real. They still happened, even though they were erased from existence. It still happened as far as Max is concerned, because I think part of her still remembers them. Um, so yeah, it's interesting. The other interesting thing is I feel like this sort of leads it up to a sequel, but maybe not, because if she destroyed Arcadia Bay, I don't know, that would be a pretty difficult sequel to make from. So they probably aren't going to make a sequel of this. If they did, I think it would be ridiculously tough because of the final decision, because that would just drastically change a lot of things, but who knows. So overall, like I said, I enjoyed the series as a whole. It took me until the last episode for me to finally be able to say that. But even when I started playing this game, guys, I wanted to love this game. I didn't go in, not wanting to love this game at all. I wanted to love this game, and I'm so happy that after thinking it was okay for the first 3.5 episodes, that after playing the last one, I feel like, yes, I'm so happy I played this game. It was a fantastic experience. The developers and writers did a great job of tying everything up at the end. I personally wished that there was one more scene, maybe at the end, with Warren and Max, like maybe Warren's comforting Max, or he's got his arm around her and just telling her it's going to be okay, and he misses Chloe too, and maybe they're on their like date at the movies, not out of disrespect to Chloe, but just as a way of them trying to move on and trying to move ahead for Chloe's sake and trying to live their lives for Chloe's sake. It would have been really cool to actually see more Warren in general throughout the story. I still think that it was kind of weird that of all people, Max didn't feel like she could trust telling Warren about her powers, even from way back in episode 1, because I feel like of all people, Warren would have believed her. And I think that Warren has proven numerous times, even in episode 1, that he was loyal and that he had like had Max's best interest, and that you could trust him. So I think one other critique I have is I feel like the experience probably would have been a lot more enjoyable, and I might be partial, if they had Warren as a third, like Scooby, if we're going through the terms through Buffy the Vampire Slayer terms, like it would have been cool if they had Warren, or at least had the option of telling Warren way back in episode 1 and have it be the story of Max, Chloe, and Warren instead of the story of Max and Chloe. But I understand why, because they really wanted it to be it was important for the plot because of the choice at the end. It was important for the plot for it to be Chloe and Max because otherwise, I guess otherwise it would not have been impactful to have to make the decision of having it be Chloe versus the Arcadia Bay. But maybe something would have made it be a decision between Chloe versus Warren versus Arcadia Bay. I mean, it could be that way, or even just a choice between Chloe and Warren, or maybe, or I guess Chloe, Warren, and Arcadia Bay would have been a perfectly fine choice. I don't know. I just felt like it would have Warren probably would have helped mellow Chloe out a little bit, and I feel like that the three of them together would have been a fun group, and I think it would have been a really interesting dynamic adding Warren into the investigation process. I think he would have been a great like comic relief. I feel like you could still tell the same story and still have that same still show the same bond, still show the same emphasis on the relationship between Max and Chloe, by having Warren in all the three of them. Again, I might be partial. I'll admit that I'll probably be partial. At minimum, it would have been nice if we had one episode that was basically like the Warren episode, where you basically spent most of the episode with Warren investigating. By that point, you would have told Warren about it, and then he would have, like, maybe because Chloe was incapacitated at the time, I guess episode 4 would have been a good candidate. I don't know. But it would have been more of a Warren and Max episode, and then that's 1 out of the 5 episodes. The other 4 episodes could be Max and Chloe. The other 4 could be Max and Chloe, and Warren could be, the Warren Max. Because, I mean, the developers and stories really made it seem like Warren was an important character, and he was an important character. I just felt like there was so much potential for him to be more, to have played a larger role than he did. And me being partial as I am, I think that was a missed opportunity. Because I think that he would have added a lot. He would have added a lot to the story and to the dynamic if he was a part of the team way earlier on than at the end. But I will at least accept that we at least got a kiss. At least I had that moment with Warren, and in my headcanon, Warren and Max will end up being together, they'll date, they'll get married, they'll have kids, they'll name their daughter, they'll have a daughter first and name her Chloe, and they'll live happily ever after and have many, many happy times together and all that good stuff. So, the game doesn't really answer, again, a lot of questions. Like, they never really give a definitive answer of what that doe is. I think it's very implied that is Rachel, but it was never like explicit. So maybe it doesn't have to be explicit. I guess the developers and writers just wanted to give viewers or players a chance to just theorize on their own without have their hands held and being told for sure. And I think that's a good thing. So yeah, so please tell me what you guys think in the comments. Let me go see what else other choices we had. No, I mean, that's it. I mean, this is the major choice. You reported Nathan. You hit the no, wait. You comforted Victoria. Okay. Friend stats. So I think Selves Deidre Carson, or else also chose to sacrifice Chloe. There isn't a next. Polarized. David got a scar during the fight. David didn't get a scar during the fight. Oh, so there might have been a more perfect way to save David, to help David. You might have been able to figure out a way to get him through that fight unscathed. David killed Jefferson, 47%, and 53% David didn't kill Jefferson. Not that it matters anymore. That all got wiped out. 64% saved the trucker, 36% didn't. A lot of people saved Evan. I didn't see him in time. 33% only because I didn't see him. I did save Alyssa. 68%, 32% did save Alyssa. I did save the fireman, the fisherman. You didn't save the fisherman. You helped Joyce believe in David again. You didn't change Joyce's mind about David. Oh, interesting. Okay. 62% was like me, didn't change Joyce's mind about David. You told the truth about Frank to Ward. You told the truth about Rachel to Frank, 68%. You didn't tell the truth about Rachel to Frank. I did. Oh my gosh, 66% of people kissed Warren. 66%. Two-thirds of people wanted to see a Warren and basically we're shipping Max and Warren. So I feel a little vindicated, like I'm not crazy. People do actually want to see them together. I'm not crazy. And 27% of people hugged Warren, which is still big. Still big. So only 7%, less than 10% people just blew off Warren completely. So I feel good. I feel good that my love for Warren's character was not unwarranted. You guys, how do you stand me? I have no idea. I have no idea. Friends. Okay. World stats, friend stats. Got it. Okay. Okay. Well, that was it, guys. Polarized. So I think I've talked enough about this game. I am planning, the last thing I'm going to say is, I am planning on hopefully doing an open mic hangout on this game. And for those of you who don't know what an open mic hangout is, I did one last month for Dragon Age Inquisition. It's basically an opportunity for you viewers, you guys out there, to get into a hangout with me, like an online Google Hangout with me, talking about some subject matter, typically a video game. And now that Life is Strange is over, I thought it'd be really cool to have like an open forum where I can sit down and we can just talk about anything and everything, discuss, chat, maybe give our theories about the unanswered questions about this game. And it gives you a chance to not only interact with me, of course, but also, more importantly, to be able to meet other people, other cool people around the world who also share the same passion for the game with you as well. And what I do is, because Hangouts only allow for 10 people as max to be involved in, this is all going to be live streamed. Throughout the course of the Hangout, I'll rotate people in and out in a revolving door fashion, trying to make sure that every single person who wants a chance to join the chat live and hang out with me and all of the other people talking about Life is Strange, you'll have the chance to do that. So I'm gonna make an announcement. It probably won't be for another month or so, because I think I'm gonna do an open mic hangout on the Borderlands finale first. I'll be doing one on Borderlands, Tales from the Borderlands first, and then I'll do one for Life is Strange. So that's the plan, and then I'll probably do one for Game of Thrones as well too. So those of you who are big fans of Life is Strange and you want to keep the game alive in your hearts and want to talk about the game with other people, that'll be your chance, and I think it'll be a great opportunity for me to also meet you in person, face to face, if we haven't done that yet. So that's all I've got, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed my Let's Play of Life is Strange, warts and all. And even if there were parts of the Let's Play that you didn't enjoy, I completely understand. I apologize that you will not. I will not apologize for being honest and open with you about everything, but I will apologize for making you feel frustrated or feel sad. But hopefully, by the end, if you stuck with me to the end, it all worked out. It all was well rewarded at the end. And hopefully you enjoyed most of, or a good number of parts of the Let's Play regardless. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me if you did. And until next time, everybody, love yourselves and love each other. Rest in peace, Chloe. You are our everyday hero, Chloe. You deserve to rest in peace.